Are you one of the millions of Nigerians tired of the numerous evil machinations of our rogue politicians, but keep saying to yourself, "My single vote won't matter"? This message is meant only for Nigerians who care about our country, who also believe that citizens deserve regular and reasonable access to those who hold elected officials but think their single vote won't matter. This is what we mean by access. By law, you have the right to make legitimate complaints to your legislator, state or federal, and depending on how legitimate the complaint is, it is your right to get a response specific to your complaint from that legislator. Good day, dear friend. We could start by analysing to you how things have gone terribly wrong in Nigeria and how politicians are behaving badly, but you already know that, so we won't waste your time. Government is like a machine, and like every machine, it has a manual. When a machine is not operated according to the manual, it breaks down. The machinery of government in Nigeria has broken down because it's not operated according to the manual. What is this manual, you ask? The manual is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. Section 14, subsection 2A of the 1999 Constitution provides, "Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom government, through this Constitution, derives all its powers and authority." Subsection 2C goes on to say, "The participation by the people in their government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution." The operative word in the provisions of the Constitution cited above is the word sovereignty. What does that word sovereignty mean? The short and sweet definition is supreme power or authority. Our favorite definition is this: the ultimate boss, the boss of all bosses. You are the ultimate boss, the boss of all bosses according to the Constitution. You laugh, these guys are not even serious. But please wait and let us explain to you. Simple question: who is generally referred to as Nigeria's #1 citizen? It's the president. Now, who is the president's boss? Some will say nobody. Wrong answer. It's the National Assembly. Some lawyers will agree with us, while some will say they have equal powers. How else will lawyers make money if they don't argue with one another? Your boss is the person, be it corporate or human, who has the authority to remove you from your job. Who is the boss of the National Assembly? You are the boss of the National Assembly, just as you are also the boss of your state house of assembly, because you are responsible for the election. You also have right of access to your legislators, and that is what sovereignty implies. So why doesn't it feel like that? Maybe this is the reason it doesn't feel like that. Do you know the name of the House Rep, member representing your constituency at the National Assembly? Probably not. What about your senator? One more question, please. Do you know the name of your senatorial district or under which federal constituency your residence falls? If you know the answers to these questions, well done, and we apologize for assuming you don't. You see, some Nigerians don't know the names of their House of Rep members or senators, but can tell you exactly how many days the president spent abroad the last time he traveled, and exactly how much the trip cost. As for their State House of Assembly member, they don't know either, but can probably tell you how many children the governor has, how old each one of them is, where they are schooling abroad, how many times the governor's wife travels abroad for shopping, and exactly how much her Hermes Birkin handbag costs. Dear friend, let us, as Nigerians, turn the machinery of government the right way up. We've been looking at it upside down. This is the way we have been looking at it. President on top, National Assembly below him, then the people under the National Assembly. Yet, when we want things done, we bypass the National Assembly and look up to the presidency because we think the president is the ultimate boss. This is how we have been operating as Nigerians. We have a legitimate concern. We start complaining about the president and his ministers or governor and his commissioners. Meanwhile, legislators are jollifying all over the place. No, this is the way government should work. Firstly, you've shown your federal and state legislators that you are his or her boss. Secondly, whenever you have a legitimate concern, depending on whether it's on the residual, concurrent, or exclusive legislative list of the Constitution, you forward your complaint to the appropriate legislator, federal or state. legislators have no other choice but to deal with that issue on your behalf. Why? Because according to the Constitution, sovereignty belongs to you, and they derive their power from you. They can deal with it personally or summon the appropriate government agency. As the ultimate boss, you deal directly with your immediate subordinate, your federal or state legislator, who will in turn deal with their own immediate subordinate, the president or governor. This project is a non-partisan project, meaning we are not in support of or opposed to any political party or candidate. However, the most effective exercise of your sovereignty is the removal of the incumbent political office holder. There is no evidence of your sovereignty if, after the election, the office holder remains the same. Not only the incumbent, but any other candidate recognized as an establishment candidate. Establishment candidates are 1. Former governors who want to become senators, 2. Present House of Rep members who want to become senators, 3. Candidates who have occupied one political office or the other who are being presented by any of the main political parties as their candidate for a National Assembly or State House of Assembly seat. The list is longer, but we are sure you got the idea. You see, dear friend, it is far less complicated to control elections into the National or State Houses of Assembly than it is to determine who wins the presidency or governorship. We know some of you already know this, but please let us explain to those who don't. To win the presidency, you have to win 1. At least half of the votes cast in the presidential elections, 2. Win at least a third of the votes cast in at least 2/3 of the states in the country, meaning if there are 3 million voters in each state of the Federation, you have to win at least 1 million votes in at least 24 of the 36 states. Whereas, to win a National Assembly seat, you only have to have at least one more vote than the candidate who came second. You know what that means. In the National and State House of Assembly elections, there's no wasted vote. Let's break it down even further. To win the presidency, 2 factors are considered: popular vote and spread, similar to the American electoral college system, but please forget about America for now and let's focus on Nigeria. To win a National Assembly seat, however, only one thing matters: popular vote. Your single vote, in theory, can push a presidential candidate past the 50% mark for the popular vote and push him past the 1/3 of the votes cast in your state, or vice versa. But you have no control over the votes cast in other states. On the other hand, for a National Assembly or State House of Assembly seat, it is popular vote and popular vote alone, spread across the constituency or senatorial district, is irrelevant, meaning your single vote is never wasted. This voting formula, either by design, default, or mistake, helps strengthen your sovereignty even further because you're meant to have control over your federal and state legislators, who will in turn help you control the president, ministers, governors, and commissioners. Still not convinced that your single vote matters? You see, in your constituency alone, there are thousands and thousands of people who, like you, think their single vote doesn't matter. And there are thousands also in each constituency, all over the Federation. Politicians spend millions gathering together those who will vote for them. Has anybody ever bothered to gather members of the voting public who will only vote for politicians who recognize their sovereignty and make themselves accessible to constituents afterwards? People like you? What we hope to achieve with Corekta.com is to gather together state by state, LGA by LGA, Fed constituency by Fed constituency, senatorial district by senatorial district, individual voters who are tired of establishment candidates who have not been recognizing their sovereignty. Corekta.com is not about any candidate or politician. It's about you and other people like you who think their individual votes don't matter. We are gathering all of you together the way politicians gather supporters so that you can claim back your sovereignty. Vote out the incumbent unless he or she has demonstrated a recognition of your sovereignty. 99% of Nigerian politicians don't, and only vote for the ones who do. Before we bring this message to a close, one more thing about sovereignty. See, people selling their votes are not just selling their sovereignty, they are actually selling your sovereignty. Finally, let us explain how Corekta.com works. On the first page, there is an interactive map of Nigeria, with the 36 states and Federal Capital Territory. One click on your state will take you to another page with a list of all the LGAs in that state. Click on your LGA and you will land on a page that has a picture of the House of Rep, member for your federal constituency, and a picture of your senator. We are only covering federal legislators for now. Underneath each picture is a simple survey question. Will you be voting for this candidate during the 2019 general elections? And the two options, no or yes. We do realize that quite a number of the people whose pictures you will see are no longer contesting for that particular position. House of Rep members who want to become senators, senators who want to become governors, or president, and of course there are cases of those who are governors at present who want to become senators. You won't find pictures of those in the last category there. Remember, we said Corekta.com is about you and not the politicians. A yes vote means I will continue to vote for any establishment candidate whether he recognizes my sovereignty or not, while a no vote means I will only vote for a candidate who recognizes my sovereignty. If you are one of those who wants to vote only for a politician who will recognize and respect your sovereignty, please click no, leave a comment if you want. We are not asking for any registration details, just a yes or no, click and a comment if you want. What is it going to cost you? Just a few minutes of your time. What do you have to lose? Again, maybe just a few minutes. But think of what you stand to gain if there are enough people out there like you to push undeserving politicians out of power in Nigeria for good. We have tried to make it possible to provide the survey question for every federal legislator, but in cases where you don't see the survey question due to technical issues, we're still resolving them. Please use the comment section. One more thing, please. We know the site is not error-free. If you come across any errors, feel free to ridicule us over it. However, don't forget to 1. Tell us about it, and 2. Point us in the direction of the correct information. Now here's a summary of what we have been talking about. Take control of the legislative arm of government and you will gain control over the executive arm as a result. Thank you.